Binge.
Hey everyone, welcome back for a brand new video about the show that just broke the internet, 13 Reasons Why. Warning, beyond this point there are spoilers for people who are not up to date on the Netflix series as well as the brand new shocking Season 3 trailer. In this video, we're going to give you our binge breakdown of the trailer for the upcoming season of 13 Reasons Why. We're going to examine the Season 3 synopsis and go over the website that the trailer leads you to and look for any and every clue we can find and give you our theory about who killed Bryce Walker. First, let's take a look at this trailer which dropped a massive bombshell on us. The opening shot shows police crime scene tape and Deputy Standall along with other officers and a medical examiner walking around the crime scene. We assume this scene is for the murder of Bryce Walker, but we'll get a lot more into that later. The trailer then transitions into a shot of Tony, Justin, and Tyler closing the trunk to Tony's car and looking guilty AF. Bryce Walker was hated by many of the major characters of this series, and it's possible that any one of these guys had something to do with his violent demise.
I'm gonna miss this. All of it.
That shot transitions back into nighttime, and it appears this trailer is more of a symbolic teaser. Many of these shots may not be featured in the actual season unless they're part of some sort of dream or vision sequence, but we believe there could be clues there as to who the murderer or murderers actually are. As Tony looks over through his passenger window, the trailer morphs to the football field bleachers where Zach is sitting with Chloe and not looking too innocent. This is most likely the homecoming game, which we'll get into later, but the two big questions here are, where is Chloe's baby bump? She was revealed to be pregnant in the Season 2 finale, and the baby is Bryce's. Did she get an abortion? The other big question is, what happened to Zach's leg? Was it a sports-related injury, or does it tie into Bryce's murder? Zach and Chloe look off to their right, and that shot transforms into this one in the hallways of Monty and a couple of red shirt jocks confronting Jessica and some red shirt weirdos. That confrontation ends with Monty getting pushed before transitioning into this one of Alex choking Monty. Both of them are surprised by something and the confrontation ends. The two adversaries then look off to an old washroom where we get our first look at newcomer to the cast, Ani, who surprisingly enough is also narrating the majority of the trailer.
Here's the thing about the kids at Liberty High.
Ani seems to be washing blood from some fabric, and we wonder how she ties into everything. Could Bryce have raped her or someone close to her? How does she know so much about the students and their secrets as she implied in her narration of the trailer? Ani looks back and the trailer morphs outside in the rain to a very disturbing Fight Club looking version of Clay. The camera pushes into a close-up of his angry face, which then transitions to a different moment. As the camera zooms back out, we see that Zach, Chloe, Monty, Tony, Justin, Clay, Jessica, Ani, Tyler, and Alex are all surrounding a coffin. This was a huge reveal as nobody had any clue about the death of a cast member. We were only left wondering for about 5 seconds when the camera pans over to the floral arrangement for the deceased, Bryce Walker, who had more enemies in the show than anyone else. The trailer cuts to black and we immediately find out that someone killed Bryce Walker. It wasn't a suicide or accidental death. After a title card splash, the date of the season premiere is revealed as August 23rd, only 3 weeks away. The trailer cuts back to the funeral as Bryce's mother pleads to the group. Clay seems to contemplate for a minute, and just as he seems like he's about to speak up, the trailer cuts to black again, and this time it reveals a website, WhoKilledBryceWalker.com. That's the entire trailer, and all it really does is tease us about a huge mystery that we hopefully get an answer to by the end of Season 3. What do you think? Who killed Bryce? Next up, we're going to analyze the description of Season 3 released to Entertainment Weekly. 8 months after preventing Tyler from committing an unthinkable act at Spring Fling, Clay, Tony, Jessica, Alex, Justin, and Zach find ways to shoulder the burden of the cover-up together while helping Tyler move towards recovery. But when the aftermath of a tumultuous homecoming game culminates in the disappearance of a football player and Clay finds himself under police scrutiny, it's up to a shrewd outsider to steer the group through an investigation that threatens to lay bare everyone's deepest secrets. The first thing we find out is that there will be an 8-month time jump and that apparently nobody was charged in connection with Tyler's aborted attempt at a school shooting. It seems the homecoming game is where Bryce is killed, although here it's labeled as a disappearance. In this notice on the website for the city of Vallejo, California, apparently there was some sort of filming at a bridge location and a water rescue, which we believe may be Bryce's body being pulled out of the water. Is he thrown off of a bridge, or is his body dumped here after he is murdered?
I should kill you. Hey, chill out.
Some people have speculated Bryce killed himself, but we believe that's not in his nature, as self-preservation is key for the king of jock rapists. From this description, it appears Clay is the prime suspect and things aren't looking too good for him. DYLAN Minnette, who plays Clay, was allegedly spotted on set in an orange jumpsuit on the last day of filming. And there's also the fact that a prison guard is listed in the IMDb credits for the last episode. Does Clay go to jail for murdering Bryce? Is he guilty? What do you think? Is Clay too obvious of a choice?
Season 3 is definitely not going to be easy for Clay or any of these people.
Now let's examine what we find out by going to this website and give you our theory on who we think the killer is. You can only participate in this interactive experience through your phone. Once you're at the website and accept the terms of use, the website asks to access your camera and microphone. You don't have to accept this request, but it does make it more fun. After you do accept and you follow the voice prompts, you'll be brought into interrogation room 4, where Alex's dad will ask you questions about Bryce's murder. There are many different answers and variations, and as far as we can tell, there are 57 different videos associated with this experience, along with this very strange background video embedded in the site, which has Bryce smiling a very creepy smile as it ends. At a certain point in the process, depending on your answers, the deputy leaves the room to speak with Clay. Bryce's mom comes in and asks you some questions before leaving, and then Mr. Standall returns and resumes his questioning.
I need to know what happened to him.
If you cooperate, ultimately the deputy will ask you who you think did it, and there are 16 different options of who the killer may be out of Zach, Alex, Clay, Jessica, Tony, Chloe, Tyler, Monty, Ani, Justin, Caleb, Mrs. Walker, Mrs. Baker, Courtney, Ryan, and last but not least, Mr. Porter. After each selection, the deputy reacts with varying levels of interest and feedback. You're then taken to a screen where you're able to share your theory on social media and treat it to promotional photos from the series. Here's where we think some of the clues may come in, as the deputy's comments don't really tell us much that we already don't know.
This time, we have evidence that it's a homicide.
We think there are definitely clues in the artwork, as selecting 10 of the 16 candidates leads you to these posters, which upon closer examination refer to moments that haven't happened yet but must be coming up in Season 3. Based off of this logic, we can eliminate Mr. Porter, Ryan, Courtney, Miss Baker, Mrs. Walker, and Caleb.
So how bad is it gonna be?
Miss Baker has one of the strongest motives to kill Bryce, but we don't think that's the way the show will go. The rest of those 6 don't really have a solid motive at all, although it would be an amazing twist if Mrs. Walker was the killer. Now let's look at the 10 remaining suspects and examine their motives and any clue we can find on these posters. First, let's take a look at Zach. Although they started off as great friends, Zach's conscience got the best of him after Hannah's suicide, and he realized how much of a scumbag Bryce truly was. Zach never defended Bryce's actions, but continued to hang out with him until Zach couldn't put up with him anymore.
Sorry, Coach. I can't anymore.
And eventually the two would come to blows. The fact that Chloe is with Zach in the trailer suggests their friendship is never repaired, and they could be up to something more nefarious. Zach does seem to have too pure of a heart to kill someone, but we don't know how Bryce was killed. Was it an accident? Did Zach get in a fight with Bryce and Bryce accidentally got killed? Zach's poster refers to Bryce and Zach as estranged best friends, and an apparent quote from Zach says, "I've been fighting with Bryce Walker my whole fucking life, okay?" Next up is Alex, who has been a tortured soul almost since the beginning of the series. Before Hannah's rape and subsequent suicide, Alex was friends with Bryce and was present the night Hannah was raped, although he didn't know what had happened.
Who is it?
After his suicide attempt in the Season 1 finale, Alex spent most of Season 2 trying to regain his memories surrounding what happened to Hannah and what he did to himself. On numerous occasions, Alex is shown to have serious anger issues and did not have any love for Bryce at all. Alex's poster says he's known to instigate fights and also violent outbursts in all caps. Unfortunately, neither tidbit is really new information. Suspect number 3 is Clay, and seems like the obvious choice. Clay never liked Bryce and went so far as to get Bryce to assault him to trick him into admitting he raped Hannah on tape. Throughout the second season, Clay's hatred for Bryce intensified, and they have some heated interactions. The fact that Clay seems to have recurring psychotic episodes throughout Season 2 as he hallucinated Hannah does not help his case. Could he have had a full psychotic break? Could he have killed Bryce while talking to Hannah and not even realize it? What do you think? Could Clay have gone all Norman Bates on Bryce? Clay's poster is the most revealing and possibly the most damning of all of them. We can make out the word bridge, which we covered earlier, the homecoming game seems to be referenced, and finally it says Clay was seen threatening Bryce prior to his disappearance. It also seems a little bit too obvious, and barring a psychotic break, we believe Clay is innocent. Jessica is the fourth suspect and has one of the strongest motives of all, as Bryce raped her. Bryce was only given 3 months of probation after this act, and it's entirely possible she got fed up and decided to fight back. Her poster mentions a quote from her, "I will take down the jocks." It also seemingly references the homecoming game, her testimony against Bryce in court, and another quote from her about taking down rapists. Finally, there is a note that says, "Sorry, Jess." But whose handwriting is that? Who's sorry? Next up is Tony, who had some definite rage issues and was also friends with Hannah, but did seem like he was channeling his anger differently and more productively. His poster mentions him being under investigation and the fact that he's a 2-strike felon. The sixth suspect is Chloe, Bryce's girlfriend. Although Chloe did not betray him on the stand, it does seem she realized how much of a monster he truly was. The fact that she was pregnant with his baby, but 8 months later has no signs of pregnancy seems to point towards an abortion. Could Bryce have hurt her in those 8 months?
Abortion would be something that is explored then in season 3?
I think it very much could be, and it would be interesting to see how they handle it.
Even possibly driven her to murder. Given her lack of anger, we don't think it's likely, but anything is possible. Chloe's poster references the fact that she's no longer a cheerleader and that she's been seen getting close to Zach, which was reiterated in the trailer. We don't think she killed Bryce, but she may know something. Suspect number 7 is Tyler. The fact that Tyler almost shot up the majority of the school population during the spring fling, Bryce included, sets him up as a strong suspect. After all the bullying he's been through and then his date with a mop handle, Tyler really has some issues. Was Tyler able to come back from the edge, or did he just come up with a more subtle plan for revenge? Tyler's poster has loner in all caps and mentions him being bullied by jocks like Bryce Walker for years, which is unfortunately old information. The next suspect is Monty, who is also arguably the worst bad guy in season 2. Monty has been one of Bryce's henchmen for years, but Bryce basically disowned him after his trial, and this could have pushed Monty towards murder, and let's face it, he's capable of some horrible things. Monty's poster mentions the ill-fated homecoming game as well as the fact that he was accused of bullying. The big piece of info here is that Monty was last seen antagonizing Bryce on the football field. What do you think? Could Monty have murdered his idol? Our penultimate suspect is Ani. Ani is new and we know nothing about her. Given Bryce's track record with women, it's conceivable he hurt her or someone close to her. Ani's poster mysteriously says she has an unknown previous criminal history, which is confusing. The poster also says she seems to be close to Clay and Jessica. Who is this new girl and what's her story? At least we won't have to wait too long to find out. Our final suspect is Justin. Although he was one of Bryce's besties, the whole raping his girlfriend situation eventually pushed Justin over the edge and made him hate Bryce. Given his past history of being abused and being a drug user, Justin could definitely be a possibility. Justin's poster mentions his drug use, his time in a juvenile center, and the fact that he testified against Bryce in court. Our theory ignores Ani because we don't know anything about her. If anything, we think Ani is working with the police, as her speech in the trailer could be interpreted as a report to the deputy about the group of friends who are all suspects in Bryce's murder.
I can't help you if you don't tell me what it is.
We believe the two strongest suspects right now are Monty and Zach. Monty seems more obvious because he has nothing going for him and Bryce has thrown him away like garbage. Monty is capable of some very bad things and was threatening Bryce at the game. What do you think? Could Monty have gone single white male on Bryce and killed him? We're putting Zach in our theory as well because we believe he could have accidentally killed Bryce, possibly in an attempt to protect Chloe. We don't think Zach would premeditate murder, but that he clearly hates Bryce now and would definitely fight him again. Strangely enough, the videos associated with the website all start with an intentional pixelation, all except Zach's and Ani's. Could these two have a connection to the murder? We think it's plausible and would be a very surprising twist, as Zach would not be on the top of anyone's list. What do you think? Who is the killer? Will Netflix release more clues in the weeks to come before the season drops and we get answers? It's been announced that Season 4 will be the last season, and it is possible we won't even find out by the end of Season 3, but we're hoping that's not the case. Thanks so much for watching our videos, everyone. As always, we're on the lookout for new promotional material and hidden clues to help prove or disprove all the theories going around about our favorite high school murder mystery. Please let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Binge Rampage. Click that notifications bell for our channel so you can see our next video as soon as it comes out. And don't forget to subscribe.
No matter how many reasons there might be, why, there are always more why not?
I do.